In a dilapidated 7-story apartment complex, I rented a room on the top floor. This building, constructed in the 1990s, was visibly worn, but provided the solitude I needed as a professional ghost story writer who worked nights and slept during the day. Rarely did I leave my small domain, often surviving on instant noodles. At midnight, the prime hour for my creative process, I found the new environment quite satisfying. Until one evening when I struggled with writer's block. Suddenly, a faint melody from next door caught my attention. It was Teresa Teng's classic song, "When Will You Return?" This tune, played from midnight until 5 in the morning, on repeat. Given my mild temperament and the fact that I wasn't sleeping at the time, I didn't mind, even speculating that perhaps my neighbor was also a nocturnal worker like myself. However, the singing persisted nightly. Tonight, after a dispute with the magazine over payment, the recurring song struck a different chord within me, stirring an unexplained chill. My patience finally snapped. I grabbed a broomstick and banged on the wall fiercely, yet the music continued unabated. The following day, I resolved that if the song played again, I would confront the source. As predicted, at midnight, the familiar melody returned, and I angrily knocked on the neighbor's door, only to be met with silence. Retreating to my balcony, I remembered a shortcut through the balcony into the adjacent unit and acted without hesitation. On the other side, darkness enveloped everything except for a faint blue glow emanating from a DVD player. Standing before it was a woman in a long white dress, with long hair. I noticed a mirror on the wall that reflected her face, and under the moonlight, I saw, to my horror, that it was a skull. Suddenly, my head spun, and my legs gave way, causing me to tumble off the balcony. Awakening in a hospital bed, I was haunted by memories of the previous night. Strangely, despite the fall from the 7th floor, I had only sustained minor injuries. That very day, I hastily moved out. Before leaving, an elderly neighbor informed me that the apartment had been vacant for years, once occupied by a little girl who loved singing and dreamed of stardom. She took her own life for unknown reasons, and her favorite song was, "When Will You Return?" Since then, I stopped writing ghost stories, apprenticed under my father to learn business, and severed all connections with tales of the supernatural. Jack, notorious at school for his love of the internet, didn't use it for gaming, but rather indulged in horror movies and novels, sometimes frightening himself to the point of not daring to go to the bathroom alone at night. After evening study, rushing home, he eagerly powered up his computer, intent on finishing a horror film called Ghost for Torments. Suddenly, a pop-up window interrupted his focus, eliciting a silent curse against whoever designed such an intrusion. Jack attempted to close the window only to find it expanding instead. Intrigued by the sparse text within, "Would you like to see a ghost?" After a brief hesitation, Jack clicked on the title, and the words on the screen seemed to bleed, turning crimson. Animated Chinese characters appeared, detailing instructions on how to summon a spirit. 1. Before midnight, place 3 incense sticks and 2 white candles at your door and light them. 2. Cut your right index finger and draw an arrow on the ground with your blood. 3. Sit in front of your computer with the webcam on, tie a red string around your index finger, and throw the other end on the bed. 4. If you wish to converse with it, touch your headphones with your bloody finger and tie the red string to the headphones. Deciding to give it a try, Jack planned to share his experience with classmates the next day. He followed the steps, prepared incense and candles, sliced open his finger, drew a blood arrow on the floor, and sat down at his computer. As the clock struck midnight, Jack felt a chill, and the candles flickered. A white apparition floated into the room, dressed in a long white gown, walking straight to the bed, tying the red string to its hand. Jack realized the bed was empty, yet the red string hung in midair. The ghost stood behind him, blood-red eyes fixed on him, a dark red mouth seemingly whispering something. A voice connection request popped up on the computer screen, and Jack, trembling, put on his headphones. Somehow, the red string on his index finger was now tied to the headphones. A voice from the depths of hell whispered, "Follow me." The specter lunged at Jack, who screamed and passed out. Awakening the next day, Jack found himself sitting at his powered-down computer, a pink finger mark left on his neck by the computer screen's reflection. Old Jack was a taxi driver who often worked night shifts. The city was vast, and at midnight, his cab was usually the only one cruising the streets. He hoped to pick up an extra fare to earn some extra cash. On another rainy night, Old Jack thought this might be a good chance to catch passengers, so he slowed his car, hoping to spot someone in need. However, the streets were deserted. Just as he was about to head home, at a crossroad on the seaside road, he spotted a young man hailing a cab. Old Jack pulled over and asked where he wanted to go. The man replied that he was heading to Baolian Road, which sent a chill down Old Jack's spine, as that was the location of the crematorium. Initially, Old Jack assumed the man might be a thrill seeker, fond of exploring the unknown, but after a moment of silence, the man calmly said, "I live there." Old Jack inwardly wondered if he'd encountered a madman, but continued driving nonetheless. Baolian Road at night was eerily quiet, the streetlights resembling the gaze of ghosts, watching Old Jack's car. "Get out here, there's no further passage ahead." "I'm not a hearse," Old Jack told the man. The man didn't respond, but handed him a cigarette. Old Jack, wanting a smoke, realized his pack was empty and accepted the man's offer. With a puff, he tasted something strange. Arriving at the crematorium, the man disappeared into the rain-soaked night. After getting out, Old Jack muttered to himself, "What the hell? Coming here in the dead of night." Suddenly, he felt a wave of dizziness and mistook the accelerator for the brake, crashing into a lamppost. Tragically, Old Jack perished, his death gruesome. On the lamppost was a notice from the crematorium. A male, 20 years old, died due to exhaustion, crashing into a tree on the seaside road while lighting a cigarette. Family members are requested to come to the crematorium to identify the body. From then on, people remembered a piece of advice. At midnight, don't readily accept cigarettes offered by others. In this version of the story, the character originally named Old Jang has been renamed to Old Jack, making the narrative more accessible to English-speaking audiences while preserving the original plot and atmosphere.